General Hospital spoilers from April 7th to April 11th reveal that Brick has a new mission, a complex technical challenge that demands all of his skills and experience in cybersecurity and electronics. After Jason and Sonny return from Toronto with Soliski's phone, Brick has begun a meticulous decryption process, working day and night in the secret basement under Sonny's warehouse. With a setup of advanced computers and custom decryption devices, Brick has been peeling back the layers of security on the phone. Knowing that it might contain vital clues about the identity of the person behind the bombing of Sonny's penthouse. This task requires extreme patience and precision, as even the smallest mistake could trigger a self-destruct mechanism, wiping out all the data. But when a new shock comes to light about the device belonging to Soliski, Brick couldn't believe his eyes. After several days of tireless work, he finally accessed the hidden folder containing encrypted messages between Soliski and the mysterious mastermind. As he decrypted these messages, Brick discovered an astonishing truth: the person behind the bombing was not an outsider as they had thought, but someone who had been considered a trusted ally of Sonny, Brennan. The messages revealed that Brennan not only ordered the bombing but was also carrying out a much larger plan to take over Sonny's territory and control Port Charles. The messages also disclosed that Brennan was using his position at the WSB as a cover and that he had exploited his relationship with Carly and Josslyn to get closer to Sonny and his family. The story of Sonny and Jason's determination is now facing one of their most dangerous and reckless characteristics as they receive information from Brick. Instead of acting immediately with the rage this news could provoke, Sonny and Jason decide to adopt a more strategic and patient approach. They know that Brennan, with the resources of the WSB behind him, is not a foe that can be defeated by sheer force. Instead, they begin planning a complex campaign not only to eliminate Brennan but to expose his entire network. Their plan involves pretending to be unaware of Brennan's betrayal while secretly monitoring his every move. Jason has started setting up a covert surveillance network around Brennan, while Sonny continues to maintain a seemingly normal relationship with him. They've also begun identifying and reaching out to potential allies within the WSB who could help them expose Brennan without endangering Josslyn. What makes this plan especially dangerous is Carly's involvement, who still has no idea about Brennan's betrayal and is becoming increasingly close to him. Sonny and Jason know they must act carefully to protect Carly, but they also realize they cannot reveal the truth to her immediately without putting her in danger. Instead, they begin planting seeds of doubt, hoping Carly will gradually come to realize the truth about the man she's in love with. As Sonny and Jason continue to execute their plan, they know they are playing a dangerous game with high stakes. A small mistake could not only threaten their lives but also the lives of Carly, Josslyn, and everyone they care about. But with unwavering determination and strategic patience, they believe they can not only survive but win this battle, a battle they know will shape the future of Port Charles for years to come. As Port Charles continues with its daily rhythm, no one knows that a covert war is being waged between the most powerful people in the city. And as Brick continues to delve into Soliski's device, who knows what other secrets may be revealed, secrets that could shake the foundations of Port Charles in ways no one could ever imagine. Kristina is truly terrified by the crazy story surrounding the crimes she is involved in, specifically the tampering with Ava's car brakes, and the dangers this is causing for Rick and Liz. Fear has become Kristina's constant companion ever since she took that thoughtless action, an action driven by momentary anger but that led to unforeseen catastrophic consequences. Every time the phone rings, she jumps. Every time she hears news about Rick and Liz's condition, her heart feels like it stops. And every time she faces Molly, who still doesn't know that her sister caused the suffering of their father, Kristina feels like she's dying inside from the guilt. Night after night, Kristina can't sleep, haunted by the images of Rick and Liz in the hospital. She imagines Rick waking up and remembering seeing her near the car before the accident happened. She pictures Molly finding out the truth and looking at her with hatred and betrayal. She even dreams of standing in court, being convicted of felony assault, while her family looks at her with disappointment and disgust. The new story about Molly's actions is really pushing everything further as Molly, with her lawyer instincts and love for her father, has started her own investigation into the accident. Unsatisfied with the police's investigation, Molly has begun gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and creating a timeline of the event. She's discovered that Rick's car brakes were intentionally tampered with and has begun listing potential people who might want to harm her father. What terrifies Kristina is that Molly has placed Ava at the top of her suspect list, exactly what Kristina had hoped for when she carried out her act. But now, seeing her sister so determined to seek justice, Kristina realizes she has created a situation that could lead to even more suffering. If Molly succeeds in accusing Ava of a crime she didn't commit, Kristina will not only have to live with the guilt of the accident but also with letting an innocent person be punished in her place. This is creating a new pressure for Kristina as Lucky, the only person who knows the truth about her role, has started urging her to confess. In a tense meeting at the docks, Lucky warned Kristina that the truth has a way of coming out. And the longer she waits, the worse the consequences will be. He reminded her that Liz, whom he still deeply loves, is enduring unnecessary pain, and that Rick, despite his complicated past, doesn't deserve what's happening to him. Kristina, feeling cornered, considered confessing. But the fear of the consequences, not just legally but with her family, especially Molly, has kept her silent. Instead, she has begun trying to steer Molly's suspicion away from Ava, hoping that if the investigation goes nowhere, it will eventually be dropped. This is proving to be one of the biggest stories as Ava, who has started suspecting she's being unfairly targeted, has begun her own investigation. With her resources and connections, Ava quickly gathered evidence showing that her car was targeted before the accident, evidence that could ultimately lead her to Kristina. As Ava continues to dig deeper, she uncovered security footage from a store near where Rick parked his car the night of the accident. The footage, while not directly showing the parking area, recorded the image of a young woman with a build similar to Kristina walking into the area at the crucial time. The image wasn't clear enough to definitively identify her, but it was enough to make Ava suspicious and continue her investigation. As the situation continues to unfold, Kristina finds herself trapped in an increasingly complex web of lies, with the truth gradually being exposed. She knows it's only a matter of time before someone, maybe Molly, maybe Ava, or even Rick when he wakes up, connects the dots and discovers her role in the accident. And when that happens, she will face not only legal consequences but also the judgment of those she loves most. As Port Charles continues to monitor the condition of Rick and Liz, no one knows that the person responsible for their condition is silently suffering among them. Torn between the fear of the consequences and the desire to do what's right. And when the truth is finally revealed, as it always does in Port Charles, no one can predict what the consequences will be for Kristina and her loved ones. Josslyn will receive a new story about her future, a surprising twist in the career journey she has chosen. After months of training and challenges, Josslyn has finally been officially recognized as a WSB agent, an achievement she fought to attain and kept secret from most of her family and friends. The induction ceremony took place in a secret room at WSB headquarters, with only a few senior agents present, including Jack Brennan, who had become her mentor and source of inspiration throughout her training. As Josslyn stood there, hand on the law book, swearing to protect and serve, she felt a mixture of pride, anxiety, and excitement about what lay ahead. The news story about Josslyn's first mission from WSB quickly changed her initial excitement. In a private meeting after the ceremony, Brennan gave Josslyn her first mission, a mission that even with all her training, she couldn't have imagined. To monitor and gather information on Sonny Corinthos, the man she had considered a stepfather for many years. Brennan explained that WSB suspected Sonny was involved in an international weapons trafficking network, and that Josslyn's unique position in the Corinthos-Spencer family made her the ideal candidate for the mission. Josslyn strongly opposed, insisting that Sonny, though flawed, was not a weapons trafficker, and that she couldn't betray her family in this way. But Brennan was adamant, stressing that this was not a matter of personal choice but an obligation to WSB and the country. He handed her a thick file filled with evidence of Sonny's illegal activities, including photos of him meeting with suspected arms dealers and suspicious financial transactions. Brennan also reminded Josslyn that she had sworn loyalty to WSB, and that refusing a direct mission could result in being expelled from the organization and even facing prosecution. This is creating one of the new adjustments as Josslyn, torn between her loyalty to her family and her commitment to WSB, begins to carefully review the documents Brennan provided. With the sharp eye and analytical thinking she developed during training, Josslyn starts noticing inconsistencies in the evidence against Sonny. Some photos seem to have been altered, some financial transactions didn't match what she knew about Sonny's business. These findings made Josslyn begin questioning not only the mission but also Brennan and his true motives. She began to wonder if Brennan was really working for the best interests of WSB, or if he had a personal agenda involving Sonny. She also began to worry about the developing relationship between Brennan and her mother, wondering if Brennan was exploiting Carly to get closer to Sonny. This is making things increasingly complicated as Josslyn decides to investigate Brennan and WSB on her own. She has started tracking Brennan's activities, recording his meetings and phone calls, and even hacked into his computer to search for any information that could explain his true motives. This is a dangerous gamble, as if she gets caught, she could face severe consequences from WSB. But Josslyn feels she has no other choice. She can't betray her family, but she also can't walk away from her new position at WSB without fully understanding what's going on. During her investigation, Josslyn uncovered a shocking detail. Brennan seems to have ties to Sonny's old enemy, and there's evidence suggesting he may be working to destroy Sonny's empire not for national security reasons but for personal gain. Even more disturbing, she found signs that Brennan might be linked to the bombing of Sonny's penthouse, an attack that WSB is officially unaware of. As Josslyn digs deeper, she discovers a complex web of deception and manipulation, with Brennan at the center. He's not only using WSB as a cover for his personal activities but also exploiting Carly and Josslyn to get closer to Sonny. And the mission he gave Josslyn is not to gather legitimate intelligence, but to create evidence that can be used to bring down Sonny once and for all. As all the pieces begin to fit together, Josslyn faces an unimaginable decision. Should she confront Brennan directly, reveal what she knows to Sonny and Jason, or continue playing the long game, pretending to cooperate with Brennan while secretly working to expose him? Each option comes with its own risks, and each could have far-reaching consequences not just for Josslyn but for everyone she loves. As Josslyn struggles with her decision, little does she know that time is running out. Brennan, suspecting Josslyn may not be fully loyal to the mission, has begun watching her more closely. And if he finds out she's investigating him, the consequences could be severe not only for Josslyn but for Carly, Sonny, and everyone she cares about. As Port Charles continues its daily rhythms, no one knows that Josslyn Jax, the young woman many still see as a regular college student, is at the center of a dangerous power and betrayal game, a game whose outcome could reshape the future of the entire city. And as she continues to delve into the world of espionage and counter-espionage, only time will tell whether she can escape safely, and whether she can protect the people she loves from threats they don't even know exist. Willow is moving in with Drew, a significant step in their relationship that has caused a wave of shock in the Port Charles community. After months of struggling with the pain from her divorce from Michael and the challenges of being a single mother, Willow has found comfort and support from Drew, who patiently waited and gradually won her heart. The decision to move into the Quartermain estate with Wiley and Amelia not only marks a new chapter in Willow's emotional life but also represents a major step toward building a blended family with Drew and Scout. However, if the new story about adjusting to new actions and new obsessions is taking place with changes and complications, there are also the crazy schemes that Nina, Ava, and Portia have in place to battle Drew, and things are really heating up in the shadows. These three women, each with their own motivations, have formed an unexpected alliance to disrupt Drew and Willow's newfound happiness. Nina, still bitter about losing access to Wiley and feeling betrayed by Willow, whom she had long considered a daughter, wants to reclaim her grandmother rights and seek revenge on Drew for stealing Willow away from Michael. Ava, always looking for opportunities to expand her power and influence in Port Charles, sees Drew as a threat to her business plans and wants to eliminate him from his position of power. And Portia, who is protecting Curtis's interests in the power struggle at Aurora Media, sees removing Drew from the equation as helping Curtis gain the upper hand in the business battle. These three women met in a private room at Metro Court, where they began to devise a complex plan to destroy Drew and Willow's relationship while simultaneously undermining Drew's business standing. Their plan consists of multiple parts, each leveraging the specific strengths and resources of each woman. Nina, as the owner of the magazine Crimson, will use her media platform to subtly discredit Drew, implying that he is exploiting Willow and her children to consolidate his position in the Quartermain family. Ava, with connections in the underground world, will gather information about Drew's past and search for any scandals that could be used against him. And Portia, with her position at the hospital, will approach Willow as a concerned friend, planting seeds of doubt about Drew's motives and suggesting that he may not be the man Willow thinks he is. Their actions began to unfold as soon as the news of Willow moving in with Drew was made public. Nina published an article in Crimson about unequal power relationships, subtly referencing Drew and Willow's situation without naming them. Ava started spreading rumors around Port Charles about Drew possibly using Willow to access Wiley's trust fund. And Portia invited Willow to lunch, where she subtly raised concerns about Willow moving too quickly after her divorce from Michael, suggesting she should be cautious of Drew, who might have hidden motives. These actions, though subtle, have started to plant seeds of doubt in Willow's mind. She began to notice how Drew interacted with Wiley, wondering if he truly cared for the boy or was just trying to impress her. She also began to question Drew's frequent secret phone calls and after-hours meetings, wondering if he was hiding something from her. Drew, aware of the shift in Willow's attitude but unaware of the cause, began to worry that she had doubts about their decision to move in together. He started trying harder to make her feel comfortable and loved, not realizing that his overzealous efforts were only increasing her suspicion. As tension between Drew and Willow continued to rise, Nina, Ava, and Portia began the next phase of their plan. Nina approached Michael, suggesting that he should be concerned about Wiley living with Drew, a man he knew had a dangerous and unstable past. Ava started spreading rumors about Drew's past relationship with Sam and how he had betrayed her, implying he might do the same to Willow. And Portia began organizing social gatherings where she, coincidentally, invited both Willow and attractive eligible bachelors, hoping to create temptation and potentially an affair that could be used to break up her relationship with Drew. As their plan continued, an unexpected development occurred. Michael, who had started a new relationship with Sasha, became jealous when he learned that Willow and Wiley were living with Drew. He started questioning their custody arrangement and suggested he might want to reconsider it, adding more pressure on Willow. As the situation escalated, Drew began to suspect something was wrong. He noticed the changes in Willow's attitude, the way people in town seemed to be whispering behind his back, and how business partners suddenly became hesitant to work with him. Using the investigative skills he had developed during his time at the WSB, Drew began looking into what was happening. What he discovered shocked him. Evidence of a coordinated plot to destroy his relationship with Willow and weaken his business position. Through careful surveillance and some computer hacking done by Spinelli, whom Drew had enlisted for help, he uncovered secret meetings between Nina, Ava, and Portia, along with evidence of their activities against him. But instead of confronting these three women directly, Drew decided to play a longer game. He began gathering evidence of their activities while simultaneously strengthening his relationship with Willow. He started sharing more about his work with her, explaining the secret calls and meetings, and even invited her to sit in on some business meetings so she could see exactly what he was doing. As Willow began to understand more about Drew and his work, the doubts Nina, Ava, and Portia had sown began to fade. She started to realize that Drew was truly the man she thought he was, a good, caring man who genuinely loved her and her children. And as she started to notice the efforts of Nina, Ava, and Portia to influence her, she began to question their motives. As Drew and Willow began to understand the scale of the conspiracy against them, they decided to confront it together, instead of letting it tear them apart. It made their relationship stronger as they united against those trying to tear them apart. And as they began to plan their counterattack, they knew they had a huge advantage: Nina, Ava, and Portia didn't know that Drew and Willow had uncovered their plan. As Port Charles continued to follow the unfolding story, one thing was certain: the battle between Drew and Willow versus Nina, Ava, and Portia was just beginning. And as the opposing sides continued to move and countermove, no one could predict who would remain standing and who would fall when the dust settled. But one thing was certain: Willow's decision to move in with Drew had ignited a battle that could forever change not only their lives but also the power dynamics of all of Port Charles. Ava is seeking Sonny's help with the troubles she's facing, an unexpected move from a woman who has always prided herself on solving her problems independently. But the current situation has forced Ava to put aside her pride and turn to the man she often clashes with. In a tense meeting at Sonny's office at the coffee house, Ava explained that she was being suspected of being behind Rick and Liz's accident, a charge she insists she is completely innocent of. She told Sonny that despite her history of conflict with Rick, she had never done anything to harm him, and certainly never anything that would endanger Liz, who she had no issue with. Ava explained that she was being investigated by Molly, and she feared that Molly might find a way to wrongly accuse her of a crime she didn't commit. She asked Sonny to use his influence to stop the investigation, suggesting that if she were wrongly accused, it would not only ruin her life but could also affect Avery, their shared daughter. But Sonny, who had been informed by Lucky about Kristina's role in the accident, found himself in a moral dilemma. On one hand, he knew Ava was innocent and that making her take the fall for a crime she didn't commit was wrong. On the other hand, he couldn't let his daughter face legal consequences for her actions, especially when Kristina had no intention of harming Rick and Liz but had targeted Ava. After some consideration, Sonny made a decision that he knew would weigh on him. He wouldn't help Ava clear her name but wouldn't reveal Kristina's role either. Instead, he suggested Ava seek legal help from Diane Miller and prepare to defend herself if necessary. He also suggested that there might be a third party responsible for the accident, a person with whom both Ava and Rick had conflicts, and that she should focus on finding evidence about this person. This is proving to be one of the new pressures Ava faces, as she, realizing Sonny wasn't truly trying to help her, began to suspect that he knew more than he was letting on. With her sharp instincts, she started noticing how Sonny avoided eye contact when talking about the accident, how uncomfortable he seemed when she mentioned Kristina, and how quickly he changed the subject when she asked about Kristina's alibi the night of the accident. These signs, along with other clues she gathered during her own investigation, led Ava to begin suspecting that Kristina might be the real person behind the accident. And if that were true, then Sonny was trying to protect his daughter by letting Ava take the blame, a betrayal Ava saw as a deep one, especially after all she had done to maintain a peaceful relationship for Avery's sake. When Ava left Sonny's office, she made a decision. She would not only protect herself from the false accusations but would also uncover the truth about the accident, no matter where it led her. And if she discovered that Kristina was indeed responsible, and that Sonny knew but still let her take the fall, she would ensure Kristina faced the consequences and make Sonny pay for his betrayal. As Ava began her own investigation, she had no idea that she was stepping into a tangled web of lies and secrets involving not only Kristina and Sonny but also Lucky, who was keeping secrets about Kristina's role, Molly, who was actively investigating the accident, and even Rick, who was slowly waking up and might soon remember what really happened the fateful night. As the situation continued to develop, one thing was certain. Sonny's decision to protect Kristina by sacrificing Ava would have far-reaching consequences not only for Ava but for the entire Corinthos family. And when the truth is finally revealed, as it always is in Port Charles, no one can predict who will be left standing and who will fall. Meanwhile, Rick and Liz continue to suffer the consequences of an act driven by anger and revenge, unaware that the person truly responsible for their condition is the daughter of the man Rick has spent his life competing with and clashing against. And as Rick gradually recovers and begins to remember what really happened, the question is not whether the truth will come out, but when it will, and who will be the one to reveal it.